It's a grim anniversary that passes without much notice. 34 years ago this week, an Air Canada jet plunged into a field just north of Pearson Airport in Ontario, killing everyone on board. But decades later, the story is still unfolding. Grisly discoveries are emerging from the soil, pushing people in the area to demand Air Canada do more to set things right. Jim Lagojanis reports.
Look at that skull piece.
Paul Cardin is digging up the past. Actually, it's right at his fingertips.
Oh, another piece, another bone piece. There's no need to
Bone and debris from the crash site of Air Canada Flight 621. 34 years ago this week, the DC-8 en route to Los Angeles from Montreal went down in this Brampton field, killing all 109 people aboard, an accident attributed to pilot error. Cardin wants Air Canada to clean up the site.
Air Can needs to do something out here. I mean, I've tried to, talk to them about it, but, they just don't want to seem to really move on it. But, I mean, when you're finding human remains out here, I mean, it's just, that certainly isn't right.
Air Canada officials refused a request for an on-camera interview, but shortly after the tragedy, it did erect a monument, bearing 5 caskets with unidentified human remains at Mount Pleasant Cemetery. At any crash site, it's Transport Canada that's in charge of cleaning up plane parts, while the coroner's office takes care of human remains.
As far as our office is concerned, there's nothing further we can do at this time to go and clean up the area.
Jim Cairns is a deputy chief coroner. He says 40 pieces of bone have been identified as human.
We've had a forensic anthropologist examine the bones to see if they were human or they were animal. Most of the bones that have been brought into us are animal, and the bones that we have that are human are tiny, tiny small fragments. I know that these are now coming to the surface as the area gets ploughed from time to time, and there's nothing much you can do about that. It's over 30 years, and sometimes over that length of time, small pieces will come to the surface.
Every square inch you find something. Look at it all here.
Carol Parr was 20 years old when the plane went down.
We are in the bedroom of the Parr residence, which is the exact spot where we saw the 1970 Air Canada plane crash. We heard a loud bang and we knew a plane was in trouble, so we got up and we looked out our window and we saw a shadow go over the house, plane very low, the right wing was on fire. Well, the wing landed to the left of the house and a motor landed to the right in the field over there. Something must be done for the people, a memorial.
Carol, look, I found 2 more pieces of bone.
Air Canada has been to the site as recently as last fall, but so far, it hasn't made any commitment.
What's the next step? The next step is we're going to put our book out. We now have somebody who speaks and writes French fluently, so we're going to be pursuing some of the relatives we haven't been able to contact in Quebec, and because of the language barrier. But and now, we're going to take steps to inform the people that we do have contact with what's happening with the field, and we'll probably have to talk to an airline litigator to, so they can give us some advice about how, what channels these people need to go through to get something done out here.
And 34 years later, there's some urgency to the story. Part of the land is up for sale, slated for housing development. Jim Lagojanis, CBC News, Brampton.